Presently, I'm known as Greg X, otherwise known as Young God from the Cipher Sound crew, South Jamaica, Queens, Sufton, 40, Rockaway Boulevard. Also for the greater Jamaica area, Farmers Boulevard, Hollis Avenue, Linden Boulevard. Pretty much South Jamaica is where I'm from, but known throughout all of the greater Jamaica. Right now, we're on the north side, which is a very busy side, very rich in history with hip hop and hustling, street game, all of that. So where we are right now is very relevant to what you're trying to do. My childhood was pretty traumatic, but I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I come from a household that was inundated with drugs. You know what I'm saying? And we come from a place in South Jamaica where we had to learn how to survive mentally and physically. But we also found a way to enjoy poverty. In fact, they had to tell us we were starving. We had to find out. You know how I found out we was broke? Through the fucking Brady Bunch. I was like, did that bitch just make her a sandwich? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe that shit. Like, and poured her a glass of milk. And then I realized the difference between affluence and economic disadvantage. It's crazy that you asked that. Just yesterday, I was listening to the Isley Brothers, right? And Living for the Love of You, right? I remember my mother and the people of the stoop. I grew up on a block called Shore Avenue, right? In between Shore Avenue and 40 Projects. My grandmother lived in the projects. So whenever I just needed to escape the dead-end street, I would go and live with my grandmother. But back to the music, the Isley Brothers, Ron Isley, and then, moving forward, when I think of music, because I didn't really know them by artists, it made me think of the Cipher Sounds, Love is the Message, and Rock Creek Park, and various other songs that we danced to. We had our own dances as well. Actually, it was my brother and my cousins that was DJs. I never really was a DJ. I would rock the mic to some degree. We was gangster rapping back then. We was telling the story from a block called 150th Street back then. You know what I'm saying? This is a story that never been told. 3 young boys that's oh so bold. One so cheap, the other so blow. We all got money on 150, so here we go, yo. I mean, we would say that then. That was back then. We was gangster rapping then. That was pre-80s. Because me and my other man, Steve, we used to be uptown a lot. We used to be in Harlem a lot. And we would go to, Bronx River. We would go to Chuck Center. We would be at little after-hour spots uptown, a joint called Joe Grant's. We'd be in Forster Projects. But that wasn't it. Divine from Infinity Machine. But Divine from Infinity Machine is originally from the Cipher Sounds. They had already started music, and we just kind of was in touch with that ghetto movement. So we just was expressing ourselves. Cipher Sound was like a movement. A Cipher Sound sprang a movement that from Cipher Sound came Infinity Machine, then came Phase 3, and then what was Livio's crew? What's the name of Liv? Sound Experience, and then we had Jamaica Sounds from the north side. So I would say Cipher Sounds was at the nucleus of hip hop in South Jamaica, and then you would have to interconnect that with the street vibe, because whoever was getting money, if they had a shindig that they was getting, get the Cipher Sounds. You get the Cipher Sounds, so that now is connected with hustling on the street. It's connected with fashion. We had dug up some of our old pictures, and you should see the clothes that we were wearing. We were very conscious of our style at that time as well. So it was music, money, not so much violence. Every now and then, somebody would get drunk, you got to whoop their ass and something like that. But we wasn't really into killing each other so much like that. That came later. We originally started out rocking parties. It wasn't really so much. Then the battle style started with the sound systems and stuff like that. It's up to this day, it's a controversy as to who's the king with sound systems. But pretty much, hands down, if truth be known, Infinity Machine was the king when it came to that. I mean, we know that Disco Twins, they came with what they came with, but nobody had the uniformity like Infinity Machine. Infinity Machine had the system, the modern system back then that will probably still represent nowadays. And then not only that, then they came with the van to go with it. So it was really, people can, pop shit or whatever, but at the end of the day, they be lying. Infinity Machine was holding that down when it came to sound system and sophistication with sound. My family, right, it wasn't really me so much that took it real serious as much as my cousin Alon Standing and my brother Prince. I have another cousin, Arnie Yarn, who used to rock the mic too. We were more criminals, like, you know what I'm saying? We would do that as a pastime and to have fun. But our objective pretty much was to engage the street and get money. Even though we had different sound systems, this, that, and the other, we all came together and it was always love. And I always dug the females. The females was good. So we had 160, we had 48, we had Ajax, and we had Lincoln Park. And like when we would come together, man, if phase 3 is rocking that week, we all there. So we off, we ain't got to carry no crates. We could chill with the chicks and we can, yo, nigga, you got the new Uptowns, what's up? Bah, bah, bah. We smoking weed, we going crazy. Some of us lost our minds behind that. It didn't stay beautiful like it could have, but the fond memories was that, man, the unity and moving around greater Jamaica. And interacting with people. Even over here when we would go to Jamaica Park and Jamaica Sounds before things kind of got jaded. Those of us that's we're at the foundation. We even at the foundation of Run DMC. When you saw Run DMC, and no disrespect to them, and we salute them because they have made milestones. But when they came on the set, they came on the set dressed like us, how we was already dressed like that. We laid the foundation for them. We was already rocking big ropes and Bosalino velours and leather blazers and stuff like that. So when they came on the scene with something to replica when they got here. So we at the foundation. So, and I'm very happy to see that hip-hop has taken on such enormous influence that it has changed people's lives socially, economically, spiritually, and mentally to a lot of levels. So I'm kind of glad to say that we're at the root of that. On a global level, what we're seeing now is embarrassing. What we seeing now, the things that are being promoted, you come from a hood that's disenfranchised when you could go and open up a supermarket and you rather go buy a bracelet. That lets me know that your level of sophistication is not where it needs to be. And if it lets me know that, more than likely it lets you know that. And it lets your community know that as well, that they're doing very well, but they're misdirecting their affluence. So that pains me when I see that. And then when I see us not using our influence to bring peace to where we live and to bring affluence to the ones that don't have a voice. Certainly. I mean, if you gave me the platform to say that, I would say to those that are influential, past and present, that we should come together on one forum and find out what we can do to reverse the trends that we're seeing today. I'm not saying reverse the talent. I'm just saying reverse some of the trends that we're seeing. Some of the trends that we're seeing is leading our children in a direction that they may not be able to rebound from. I can't even tell you some of the things that I had. Well, I could tell you, but that's not what we're going to use this for. But there are situations that's being promoted, the Molly, the constant use of marijuana, the overindulgence in alcohol. These things can have horrible ramifications on our children. And I say ours, so sometimes it sounds impersonal, but I'm sure many of these artists have their own children. And it's a hell of a thing to wake up one day and you see your son mollied out, weeded out, can't respond to regular everyday living, and their motor skills and their motivation is not good. So I would think that we need to have a platform where we all come together and celebrate, acknowledge each other, but try to come to some solution as to which direction we need to go with hip hop.